This is harder work than Bill might be doing in the classroom right now. What makes him trade English, math, history, science for a broom and $1.10 an hour?
Today, only 1/3 of students graduate from high school ready for college, work, and citizenship. 1/3. The other 2/3, most of them low income and minority students, are tracked into courses that won't ever get them ready for college.
There was a time when if you just got a high school education and you were willing to work hard, you can get a job in a trade or at the factory that paid a middle-class wage. And those days are declining. The currency of today's economy is knowledge.
Wait a minute. Has nothing really changed over the last 40 years? We decided to find out firsthand, so we hit the streets.
It was kind of a shock to hear that 1 out of 3 kids drop out.
That's really alarming. It's scary to hear that.
Shocking, actually. I didn't realize it was even that high.
It's surprising. It's unfortunate.
It doesn't make me feel good.
It's just sad.
That's sad, really sad. I don't know. I'd be curious to know why.
Like, why? What could they possibly want to drop out for that many of them?
I had a couple of friends that dropped out of school, but it was because they had kids. Sometimes it's kids or the pressure because they need to work and stuff and help their families, and they drop out because they say they don't need school.
Well, it's mainly the reason why a lot of people I know dropped out because of circumstances, not just because of just the education part. The fact is, their parents are not making enough money. They need money to, to support themselves, so they take jobs.
Yeah, I needed to help out at home, and so I dropped out to help out at home.
So I went through to about up to 6th grade, not doing anything, and I started hanging out and I wanted to be cool, right? Because I was always like a dork in elementary school, so I figured out the whole clique thing, right?
I was young, I was making good money, get a paycheck every week, and I had a nice car and all kinds of nice toys, and I'd go to school and it was just a different world, School was more socializing for me.
It was boring to me. I couldn't stand it. I didn't like school. I didn't like people. So I just stayed at home and slept, or I went out with my friends and smoked, did a lot of drugs, so it was just not, so I just thought I was a grown-up and then nobody could tell me anything else, that I was always right.
Like in history class, it's like you're sitting there, you're reading this big old long packet, then you gotta read through it for like 45 minutes till you get to the end, answer the questions. It's like it's too time consuming. You're taking too much time doing the same thing, and it just gets boring after a while. And then like a lot of the time, the teachers won't have you do any type of group activity. They'll just throw you the textbook, and then tell you to do it.
Because the teacher, he did nothing but talk, and I fell asleep. Yeah, that's why it seemed kind of boring.
It's boring. Kids like to learn hand-on. I think kids would have a lot more fun if they got to learn, with their hands. Like, okay, say it's math. Use money. Use cooking.
We have no hands-on learning here. I can't think of anything that we do hands-on. It's all you read out of your textbook and you do your worksheets. No hands-on.
In the business that I work in, when I have a child that sits across from me and says I'm bored in school, red flags go up all over, because that is the catchphrase for something's not working and I need help and I cannot tell you what is wrong.
If you're in a group of friends who are just kind of blah, they don't really care about school, you're like, yeah, I don't care either. You might care, but you do things that you otherwise wouldn't do when you're by yourself.
If your kids really hang out with the wrong crowd, they will start missing school, because if your best friends are leaving to go smoke weed or whatever, you're just gonna be like, it's just one day. I'm gonna miss it out. I can make it up, you know.
That's how it be. Be like,
you know,
I'm gonna just do this one day.
I'm gonna just do this one
3
day.
days later,
Yeah, I'm gonna make up the work, all that, and then next period you see yourself like, I don't need this class that much.
It's just
you
like
know?
quitting smoking. You tell yourself, you like, I'm gonna quit today.
Yeah.
Okay, just one more cigarette, I'm gonna quit tomorrow.
You're really thinking, wow, that's really cool. You know, these kids are really cool. I better hang out with them. You know, I'm gonna get into that cool crowd or whatever.
Do you think who your friends are influences a kid's opinion about school?
Yeah, because they're like messed up their future and probably think you should mess up your too. Like they want you to be like them.
In society today, you know, based upon what you wear, how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, people think like they judge you automatically. You know, it's like, oh, he's a thug or he's a nerd. You know, like.
Yeah, I think at this age, probably drugs and friends and influences
Trying
of
to
your friends. Trying to fit in basically, because in school there's a lot of outcasts and you never want to be one because you're always the one getting you're always the one getting teased and stuff. So doing drugs is cool because that's what everybody else does.
Most of my friends didn't really care about school. Most of them were like me, never really did good in school, or they got expelled for some reason. Most of them didn't see school as a priority. You are who you surround yourself with. And I mean, if everyone is going to have kind of the same mindset, like you don't see someone who went to Harvard hanging out with someone who dropped out of high school, you know?
One of the most important things I think about, especially teenagers, is that they have to feel they belong and they have to feel that they're doing something worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just doing something to please an adult, because that's the last thing they want to do.
When I felt like dropping out wasn't because like things was boring, it's just like I felt like, okay, I'm gonna be a senior next year and I have 6 credits and I didn't feel like I was gonna catch up in time. That's what made me want to drop out. So
It's like I was falling behind too. It's like don't go to class and then like piles of homework, piles of projects. Like teachers try to help me out and stuff, like go to school, do it. You know, they say I can make up my work, but I'm like, it's too much, you know, like I can't handle it. So, it's good.
If you miss days of school, I mean, I don't think you should have sitting time. I think if you're doing your work and you're actually getting good grades, you should still get credit. And it's ridiculous that, oh, if you miss this many days of school, you don't get credit. I mean, some people have to miss school. There are legit reasons why people have to miss school, like in the class, someone mentioned a family member getting murdered. That is a legit reason, and they should have been able to miss school and just make up the work.